Welcome back to Meg's Mysteries. This story is called People Watching. My favorite pastime is people watching. I love to see them all go about their daily business and their nightlife. I sit and watch. No, I'm not a stalker, but an observer. I love life and I love people. You see many strange things, some funny, some sad. I also have a gift, so to say. I hear their thoughts. Rude, you might say, but I can't turn it off. I had it since I was a child, and sometimes it got me and my friends in trouble, especially in school. One time I heard and saw things better off not knowing. I once listened in on a teacher's conversation, and I told my friends about it. The other kids overheard me tell them, and it got all out. The teacher was dating the principal, and it spread like wildfire around the school. The outcome was not great for me and my friends. She blamed me for eavesdropping and getting her fired. Another problem was no one could hide anything from me, like Christmas and other surprises. I hear about it firsthand, but I never let on. One person who knew me besides my friends was my Uncle Gasper, who owned the nightclub, the Hole in the Wall. He knew I heard his thoughts and trusted that I would never reveal any of his secrets, and he had many. The Constantines and his other associates always met at the Hole in the Wall for their private meetings and just to relax in a safe place, if you know what I mean. They all had their secrets, but family never tells on family, so I kept it all to myself. He would smile at me and say, "Gabrielle, someday, my dear, your gift will either get you in trouble or help, but I know you'll be careful." When he died, he left me everything and the nightclub. So I reinvented it and turned it into a musical cafe called The High Note, where all my friends and other musicians can come play and get recognized. Teresa, Roman, and Emilio, my lifetime best friends, have a band, and we're called The Family. We welcome all new and up-and-coming talents to join us on stage every night, to come jam with us. It's a happy place for all, musicians and people who love the music. It's a place to go for a great time. I have to tell you, my other gift is to see my dearly departed friends. Yeah, I see ghosts. I have many spirit friends. I call them my ghost squad. They are welcome too and come to enjoy the music, but only I can see them. My live friends know this too about me, and they just go with it. At first they laughed, but when I came up with some stories only spirits knew, they believed me. Like a message from one of their dead relatives. Roman's grandmother used to call him a cute nickname, my little butterball. He never told anyone, and she told me, so of course I shared it with them all, so they knew I could see and speak to the dead. Sometimes it comes in handy. Uncle Gaspar and his buddies come in once in a while, at least their spirits do, to keep an eye on the place and us. When I want the voices to stop, I go sit in the park alone to read. Then my old friend Hank, old Hank, I call him, stops by now and then to tell me what's going on. He died many years ago, but still keeps a watch on unsavory people, or bad acts as he calls them, and then he reports it all to me. One time he reported a theft in the park, and now he's reporting a murder right in front of his eyes. So we all had to get involved and see what we can do to solve the case. A murderer in our neighborhood. I also go to the library for quiet time, but a nosy old librarian, Mrs. Merriweather, has a habit of interrupting my peace. She means well. She has no one else to talk to, and she died and she haunts the library. She doesn't want to move on. This was her safe place, and she loves it. So she sees and hears things and has to tell me all about them. It's mostly about overdue books and who talks too loud. I can't forget Tilly, the meter maid, who keeps an eye on illegal parking cars and meters that ran out of time. She also died. but loved her job. I have to tell them all to come to me when they need help, and then I will try to help them with my special talent for eavesdropping. I can't control it. Sometimes I can tell the police and they can solve a crime, along with my live friends. And this is how this one came down. I told you Teresa, Roman, and Amelia all know about me and my other spirit helpers. We all play a role in catching this killer. One night, after old Hank told me about the murder he saw in the paper, he saw it in person. The whole neighborhood was buzzing about the murder. The high note band was playing and the place was packed like always. The spirit squad came in. They don't take up too much space and they love the music. Uncle Gaspar and his buddies at their usual table in the back. I made an honorary table in his honor so no one sits there. The others just blend in with the crowd. I overheard some interesting gossip from one of the crowd about the murder. It was on everyone's list. Who had done it was going all around. The paper and what old Hank told me was a woman was killed in the park. A dog walker found her sitting on the park bench, posed like she was reading a book. The book was To Kill a Mockingbird. Definition of mockingbird. A mockingbird has a habit of repeating things. So was she killed because she was reporting something she heard or saw, and the killer wanted to silence her? Uncle Gaspar told me he would check on the underground for any information. He was still connected to many of the live families. Even if they didn't know he was still hanging around, he kept a watchful eye on their every move. He was an old mobster and still had his principles. No drugs, no killing of women or children, and no ladies of the night. Old Hank said, "Gabby, I saw someone pose her on the bench and place a book in her hand. He was big and had a scarf and a hat on and a long coat. I never saw his face." So the next day I kept to my schedule of sitting in the park, going to the library, and watching all who came into the high note, hoping I can hear more information or maybe the killer's thoughts. It had to be someone around the neighborhood or someone who had seen more than Uncle Mr. Hank did. Old Hank saw everything, but sometimes he does miss something. A couple of days went by. The band was rehearsing some new songs. Someone I had never seen before came in. "Are you playing tonight? I would like a reservation." He was tall, dark, and had a strong accent. I told him no reservations were needed, just come in and enjoy the music. He said, "I play the trumpet. Maybe I can sit in a set or two." I said, "Yes, you're welcome. Many new talents have jammed with us. All are welcome." He tells us, "I am Alexei Volkov. I have just come to this country and would like to get into the music business." As he was talking, I heard his true thoughts. He wanted to take over the whole area with his family. I know a mobster when I see one. Maybe we should keep a closer eye on him and his associates. So later I asked Uncle Gaspar and his buddies, also old Hank, they'll keep an eye on him, where he goes and who he meets. Tilly will watch from her area around the neighborhood. Before he left, I asked him if I can take a picture for the entertainment advertisement for that night. We do it with all our guest musicians. He said I would be honored. So we got his picture, and I showed it around to all. He said, "See you tonight. I have many followers, and family will come too." I told him, "More the merrier." So I showed the picture to all, even the ghost in the case. If they came across him before, they would tell me. Tilly said, "I saw him park in a no parking zone, and when I told him to move or he would get towed, he walked right past me. How rude." Hank laughed at her and said, "You know you were a ghost, right? Only Gabby sees us." Tilly just smiled and said, "I do forget sometimes." Uncle Gaspar never saw him, but said he looked very much like an old rival family member. Not our family, but the Kovacic's. not people you want to know or tattle on. They tried to take over, but we were too strong then. I see they are back. You must be very careful. Mrs. Merriweather tells us, "That's the man I saw in the library. He took out the book, To Kill a Mockingbird. It's overdue. See if you can get him to return it promptly." I told her, "You are always the librarian, but the book is the least of our worries. It is evidence in murder." He came in that night, and one of his guests asked to speak to me, or the owner. I told him, "I own the place. It's been in my family for years." "I know," he said with a heavy accent. "I knew the owner, your Uncle Gasper, in the day. I always wanted to buy it, but no was always his answer. I told him it's not for sale. He said, 'I make an excellent offer to you. You must consider.' I thanked him, but said no thanks. As I did, I saw Uncle and his gang get up. I waved them off and excused myself and went back to the stage with the band. Welcome to the High Note. Today with our band, we welcome a new up-and-coming musician, Alexei Voltev. Enjoy." He played a couple songs with us. He was okay, but he wasn't a great musician. Then, to my surprise, a woman came running up to the stage. "He killed me," but only my ghostly friends and I saw her. After the set, she stayed and told us all what happened and who did it. I filled Teresa, Roman, and Emilio in. They couldn't see or hear her, but they knew it was a true story. She tells me, "My name is Anna. I worked for his family, but didn't know what I got myself into. They paid for me to come to America. I saw many bad things and was going to tell authorities, but I was scared to be arrested or deported back to my country. I have no papers. They kept many girls this way, like a prisoner. So I did tell some people, but they found out. He murdered me to silence me, and the others a warning not to tell. You must help them, please." I told my friends, and we had to come up with a way to inform the police. But how? How do we catch this monster and his family? Uncle Gasper had his mob ties, old and new. They dug into information on dates, names, and murders connected to the family, the real proof of their illegal acts. Hank made an anonymous phone call to the police to tell his story. Yes, a ghost can use a phone if he needs to. My live friends followed and took pictures of who, what, and where, and all his associates, all their shady dealings. I heard where and when the next drug shipment was being conducted and where. To my surprise, the police were still following them for a while, so they believed everything we told them. They found the girls all safe. The girls told them all they knew, and they called him a wolf in sheep's clothing. Nice at first and deadly once he got them here. They were not scared anymore, and they wanted peace for their murdered friend, Anna. They were not arrested or deported because they will be protected and informed on the mob family in a court case as witnesses to their many crimes. Crimes solved with some great friends and a little eavesdropping. People watching is still my favorite pastime. How about you? Do you like to observe life and people watch too? You can see some interesting things. I will see you soon. Have good thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this story on Meg's Mysteries. Come back for more. Until next time, enjoy your evening.